time. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lock with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't cheat, screaming bunty hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that it moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peak these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Mono. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that it came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins. Now that I've released the mute button, it's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Please forgive me. It's the allergies, man. The pollen is attacking me. I'm trying to stay fortified with my bee pollen. I think it's because I haven't been taking it every day. Like, I'm only prompted to take it when I have allergy issues, and that's not good. So I'm working on it. Y'all, please be praying for me about that. First and foremost, all praises to the Most High for all of us being here, everyone being here. Life, health, and strength. Just praise him for that. I want to thank you all for being here with me this evening. I know you could be anywhere on Bill Gates internet, but you're here with me and I appreciate that. So thank you. Today on Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, y'all, I had such a struggle narrowing down stuff for the What's Going On in Babylon segment, but we're going to get to some things on that. Wickedness of the week. We're going to talk about child trafficking in hip hop. And I know you're like, what? Child trafficking in hip hop? Yes, it's a thing. We're going to talk about it. And our main topic, why Boaz don't want your ass, because you only like the idea of him. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we can fall in love with the idea of marriage and the idea of a husband. But when the reality comes, how do we deal with that? Okay, that's what we're going to get into today. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Listen, we are trying to get monetized on YouTube. So if you are not on YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOG. MAGAD is right there in the corner of your screen. While you're at it, let me shout out my illustrious, oh so sexy, oh so wonderful husband, Mr. Monologue Magad. He is working hard. That is the hardest working man that I know. And he is working hard. But of course, he took time to help me come get set up. So I'll praise All right. So what's going on in Babylon? And see, here's my problem. I keep going back to read the news. I need to stop when I have all my articles, right? But let me tell y'all, let me show y'all what just popped up on my screen here. Receipts from Jonathan Major's companion. I'm going to say that's his companion. Let's see. Here we go. The text messages have been released, which show his innocence. Okay, let's go. A few excerpts from the text message, the ones that are supposed to prove that he's innocent. I'm sorry. So the first text message that she sent while he was still in jail, she says, please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as a protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. So if you're not familiar with the situation, Jonathan Majors was charged with domestic violence and assault over the weekend. And I'm going to tell you, Black Twitter was in an uproar because, of course, he has a history of not dating Black women. So, the girlies had fun with this one. But apparently, from what her text messages are saying, she grabbed his phone. There was an altercation, but now she's saying it's not his fault. She said they called me again to check on me, and I reiterated how this was not an attack and they did not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation, and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be on this. She ensured this to me. So now, I'm not going to say she's recanting her story. I'm not saying that at all. And it's ITV, shalom and shalom. What I'm saying is what they told us originally in the press seems to not exactly be what occurred. And so this brings up another topic, right? Because now when these allegations came out about him over the weekend, I want to say it was Saturday, once those allegations came out, now here come people on Twitter pulling out this long rap sheet of rumors of abuse from him in the past, from women he's dated in the past. So that can be tricky, right? For a regular woman, say you're regular, not dating a celebrity necessarily, but you've heard rumors, that the fella that you're interested in likes to get a little McHandsy. Okay. I'm gonna say for my safety, my mother always told me this: once is a mistake, twice maybe, but three is just a good time. when it comes to the hand rumors, though, I'm gonna say once is enough. Once is enough. And I wouldn't just blindly go into that. Find out what happened. And then also see how he is with you. A man doesn't just strangle you, hit you, beat on you out of nowhere. There's a buildup to that. You sense that danger coming. And as someone who has been in an abusive relationship in my past, I can tell you that you feel the danger coming, but you feel like you're invincible or something, and it's not going to happen to you. And then you wind up with a knot on your head. Okay. So please listen to your gut. Listen to the people around you. Pay attention to the signs before it's too late. Okay. We don't want you, we don't want any of our sisters in that situation at all. So if there's any way we can prevent that, we want to do that. And as far as, you know, Jonathan Majors, listen, all that stuff is going to work itself out. His lawyer, this man got top-notch lawyers. They already got text message receipts. So I'm sure he's going to be fine. Shalom and shalom. If you're on my IG, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. If you're here, give us a like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. So my original first story was going to be about Black China. She now is going by her real name, Angela White. As you guys have seen, she's given her life to the Lord. She's gotten her tattoos removed. She's taken out all her fillers, and we have to applaud that. We have to applaud that. And you know, I can't really say I'm appalled because I get it. There are a lot of people that are doubting her transformation, saying that, oh, it's just another money grab. She's not really saved. She just, you know, trying to distract us like celebrities do, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to say until she's proven to not be meaning what she says, why can't we take her at her word and just be happy for her? Why can't we, even if we are doubting, why can't we be praying that a change does really take a hold of her life? Listen to me. I think she made $2 million on OnlyFans last year. $2 million. I'm not cutting off $2 million for nothing I'm playing with. I can't see it. Like, I can't see it. I'm not cutting off $2 million to be out here pity patting with y'all, or to be playing with God. I don't see that. And what I find so comical about this is we've had other celebrities in the past claim to be saved, claim to change their lives, claim to have found the Lord and all this other stuff, and they have not made any changes. The content in their music stays the same, their imagery stays the same, but they did an interview or they received an award where they said, thank you, God, and now all of a sudden they're a Christian. Y'all swear Beyonce up and down is a Christian, and that woman, I haven't heard her proclaim Christ in a long time. So I don't understand why all the smoke for someone who is outwardly trying to make a positive change. We know how we feel, right? Those of us who maybe made some mistakes in the past and you're trying to get yourself up and get your life together. You don't want people criticizing you. You don't want people doubting you. You just don't want that. So I feel like we should, get the same sister our support. I'm sure she reads social media. Just because she's a celebrity doesn't mean she doesn't read it. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't be like that, y'all. Don't be like that. Okay. I think the brothers are going to find this one very interesting, if not downright disgusting. Yeah, they don't change nothing. They change absolutely nothing. But people will go, they will argue with other people about the salvation of a person that they don't even know, which is crazy to me. Sorry, y'all, on my IG, my phone just fell for some reason. Okay, so listen, when I was growing up, right, the Learning Channel was where you went to learn. That's how I knew I wanted to be involved in like surgery, medicine, watching the Learning Channel. I remember the black doctor. I don't remember his last name, but I remember his name was Dr. Jan. He was the surgeon. I used to love the Learning Channel, okay? But now, now the Learning Channel seems like the place where rejected reality shows go, because any kind of trash you want to find is going to be on the Learning Channel. This is the home of 600-Pound Life. This is the home of Hoarders. This is all the reality shows you watch to make you feel better about the things that you don't feel good about. That's what TLC is, okay? Your house dirty, go to TLC. Feeling a little overweight, go to TLC. Think you got a mental disorder, go to TLC. Like, it's all there. So now, TLC, who once bought us Sister Wives, is now bringing us a show called Brother Husbands. Brother Husbands. I know, don't hold your breath, okay? Try not to choke, or try not to get too upset as we're going through this article here. I know y'all don't believe me. I know you're thinking like, there's no way that a man is allowing another man into their wife, but yes, they are. So this couple, they're like the couple on the first episode or whatever, so they're in this article. This couple had been married for 11 years. Okay, so here's the couple. Okay, here's a couple. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that for a second. Here's a couple. All right. So the brother on the left is the second dude. Okay, he's like the boyfriend or whatever. The man on the right is the husband. They've been married for 11 years and they decided to open up their marriage. Okay, but it goes a little more deeper than that, because they talk about how she wants to date other men. Let's see. Okay, from the time Kim and Dustin started dating in their 20s, they were comfortable talking about attraction and how it could exist outside a marriage. When Kim would point out another man she found hot, or Dustin did the same with a woman, neither grew resentful because they were confident in their connection with each other. Okay, so that's their reasoning for it. Kim wants to date more men, but Vincent is concerned it will hurt the relationship. So the woman wants to date more men, but her second boyfriend is not cool with that because he's already feeling insecure about his position in their relationship. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Brother Husband is the name of the show. Tanya. Shalom and shalom. Brianna. I thought that too. I thought they looked weird. Even the original couple's like, that's ugly. But then you add that in and I was just odd and ugly. It's not it's not a good look. And let me just say this, okay? That's nasty. That is nasty. I don't understand physiologically. I can't understand. Even the Bible says if your woman leaves and goes to another man, don't go back there because it's trash. What the Bible says polluted, but it's trash. I can't for the life of me understand how a woman is okay with having two men intercoursing with her at the same. Yes, it's very. I can't imagine. Okay, I'm not okay with that, and I honestly, I'm not a man. I don't claim to know how men think. I don't. Y'all know I don't do that, but I can't, in my mind, understand how this even works. My husband don't even like me leaving the house. I just, it's baffling to me. But what I would like to point out is we see this Caucasian woman on the screen, and what's gonna happen is you Black women are gonna follow this and thinking that it's okay. And then y'all gonna get mad at Black men for not going with it, because that's what y'all do. Y'all like to follow these feminist demons down the broad road to hell. That's what y'all like to do. And I'm gonna tell you, this is disgusting. Okay. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, in some prehistoric societies, there was no monogamy. Everyone just slept with everyone. And that is not our history. Okay. As a black person. Okay. As an Israelite, let me stop, because even as black people, some brown cultures have that history. Okay. So let me just say, as Israelites, okay, that is not our culture. That is not our custom. The Bible is very clear on a woman's discretion, a woman's chastity, and how the Lord feels about harlots. Very clear on that. And I know what you're going to say. And, oh, well, nobody's a virgin. You've had sex with more than one person. Not at the same time. Not at the same time. No. And see, I don't like when people do that. You try to correlate two different things. Like they like to call it hyper monogamy. Whatever. I'm monogamous at the time. Okay. There's only one key going into this lock at the time. Okay. So call it hyper monogamy, whatever you want to call it. Still only one passenger in the ride at a time. Okay. Follow everything the white woman do, but don't follow when they submissive. Hello. We won't follow the things that can help us. We want to take everything that's going to destroy us, because it's going to make us feel empowered, and we're going to have power over our sexuality. I don't know why you never get power through giving something away. That is never how power is gained. It does not make any sense. And excuse me, my heart hurts for y'all. Because we're all connected. We all, as much as we can, need to be trying to keep the laws, be trying to follow the Bible as much as did y'all hear today that the Russians arrested an American journalist? A journalist who they thought was a spy. Now, we're not talking about Brittany Griner, okay? We're not talking about a black lesbian basketball player. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I could be wrong. That white man ain't getting out no time soon. He's not gonna get out before Brittany Griner, okay? Brittany Griner had an overwhelming amount of support. And also, she had the eligibility community on her side. Y'all, you cannot tell me that there has ever been such a force as the eligibility community when they feel like something is going to happen to one of their own. Maybe a close second would be the small hats and their reaction to any insult, the red hats, okay? The Rothschilds, let's put it like that, okay? It's their reaction to any slight insult, the way they will shut you down and cancel you and everything else. And so in Russia, being a part of the eligibility community is a criminal offense. Like, they don't allow that over there. Okay, so you see the way them people rally to get Brittany out of there? I don't know if I hate to say it. Again, I might be wrong, but I remember during the wars in the Middle East, when those journalists would be arrested, they would be over there for years, decades. Prisoners of war are captured for decades. And essentially, this is what this man is. Okay. I know they're not telling us that, America's fighting in World War III, but we have enough evidence to fully understand that we are involved by proxy. Okay. If I pay you to go punch that girl in the face, I'm responsible because I initiated it. I paid for it. I provided, I allowed it to happen. America's doing the same thing. We sitting up there hyping Ukraine up, talk about baddest man hit my hand. I bet you won't hit him first. Here you go. Here's the weapons. And then we want to turn around and say that our hands are clean. We have nothing to do with this. And we don't understand why there can't just be peace. Please. So please understand, this man is, for all intents and purposes, he's a prisoner of war at this point. Unclean spiritually and physically. Plus, I can't imagine what demons she's going to keep bringing into her original marriage. So, okay, you go to the brother husband story. So her husband's with it. And when I was reading the article, it was saying that he can date other women, but he's not right now or whatever. He's kind of focusing on them two. Um, I mean, and look, you got two men and you still want more? What is wrong with your vagina? That is my question. What is wrong with that thing? Because it's not meant to be used like that. Like you the poor thing. Oh, the poor it's not meant to be used like that. You're not I don't know. I don't know. It's a tragedy. It's a travesty if you ask me. Okay, let's keep it moving. I don't know if y'all heard that Eva and her husband are getting a divorce. Eva from America's Next Top Model, and then they were on Real Housewives of Atlanta. They've been married for like 4 years, and she's filed for a divorce, but he's saying, he wants to make it work. He's like, no, I want my marriage to work. So it seems like it's another case of a celebrity just jumping from a marriage. What? All right, we'll get into that in our main topic too. The idea of marriage, because I think that's what people fall in love with, and then when it's time to get in the game, uh, now you wanna drop out. That ain't right. All right, so wickedness of the week. I want to talk to y'all about child trafficking in hip hop. And I know if you're like me, you're probably like, what do you mean child trafficking in hip hop? That's a thing. Yes, it's a thing. I'm going to pull the article up for you now because again, I couldn't believe it. Um, Here we go. Okay. For all you old school hip hop heads, if you remember back in the 80s, yeah, definitely. This is like 80s, early 90s, Africa Bambaataa, and oh gosh, what was the name of that group? African Bambaataa and hold on, I'm getting to it. Yes, I'm showing my age because I wasn't old enough to remember everything at that time in my life. Hold on, y'all. Okay, my article left me. Here we go. All right. There was a protest in City Hall in New York on Monday calling for the resignation of Universal Hip Hop Museum leader Rocky Bucano. Um, Now, Bucano just serves as the director, president, and chairman of the museum, but he's affiliated with the Universal Zulu Nation and Africa Bambaataa. That was the name of the group I couldn't think of, the Universal Zulu Nation and Africa Bambaataa. Now, I heard about this a while ago. I had heard some stuff about Zulu Nation, African Bambaataa being involved in abuse of children. I've heard this a while ago, but so now, like, people are actually protesting because they want this museum shut down. They want Africa Bambaataa shut down. They want anybody who had anything to do with this shut down. There are kids now, well, there are adults now um that are coming out with their stories. So it says Bambaataa, born Lance Taylor, was first accused of sexual abuse of minors in 2016. In reports by the New York Daily News, 4 men spoke out about being groomed and trafficked by the hip hop icon at ages as young as 12 years old. Taylor's accusers include Hassan Campbell, a popular social media personality who claims he was abused on numerous occasions. Bambaataa has denied Campbell and the other alleged victims' allegations and questioned the motives behind their accusations, which he deemed baseless and cowardly. However, the victim's claims resulted in Bambaataa falling out of favor with the Zulu Nation, and he was removed from its leadership. And the Universal Hip Hop Museum denounced his alleged actions shortly after, or so it seems, because apparently they're still connected. Now, hold on. I want to show y'all this other story that I just saw today. Where is it? No. Okay, I don't have it. Okay. I don't have it, but I'm gonna tell y'all about it. And yeah, he was molesting boys. Yeah, I heard about that too. Now that they say 2016, I want to say that's when it was when I heard about it back then. So yeah, it's been so. But one of R. Kelly's accusers, I think it's on my other window. That's why I didn't see it. One of R. Kelly's accusers was able to get access to like a fund of his royalties. She was able to get access to his royalties in the amount of $1.5 million. Good for her. Good for her. They were explaining how she, just went through the proper channels. I guess she had the right lawyer, went through the proper channels, and was able to get a hold of that money. So good for her, and I hope she can use it, to help her healing. But as far as this Africa Bambaataa situation, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Stop thinking that thugs don't have issues. We look at a person and you feel like because they look a certain way or they live a certain lifestyle that they just don't do certain things, and you just can't take that for granted anymore, especially when it comes to your children. As an adult who was a child and kind of experienced some of these things, that kind of stuff doesn't leave you. And yes, you can work through it, you can heal from it, but how much better to not have to deal with it at all. So please be careful with your kids, be careful who you leaving them with, be careful who you sending them to. I had to go when my middle child was in elementary school, I had to go and check a teacher who I thought was just taking a little bit too much interest in my child, was getting a little too personal with my child, wanted my child to spend the night at their house and everything. I went right up to that school, complained to the principal, and had my baby pulled from her class. Because see, a lot of people like to say, oh, better not nothing happen to my baby. I'll whoop so-and-so, I'll do this, I'll do that. That's all well and good. But first of all, that's not going to change anything that happened to that poor baby. And then secondly, now we got to deal with you going to jail over the repercussions of this. So now this child going to end up feeling like, dang, well, maybe if I went told, this wouldn't have happened to me. So we have to think from the beginning to end. We have to start thinking. We have to start using our discernment. I know it gets hard. I know you want a break, especially as a single mom. It's very easily to get mentally, emotionally overwhelmed. I get it. I do. Um, and I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's like we always want to come to the table talking about how to solve a problem, but the fact of the matter is, if we would not be in sin, then we wouldn't have this problem. And it's like we refuse to see that there's no way out of certain situations that just to not get in them. That's the way out, not to do it. Because once you're in it, you have to deal with it. And I'm not saying that God is not able. I'm not saying the Lord doesn't answer prayers. I'm not saying any of that. Okay. But we also have to watch as well as pray. We have to be wise, make a friend prove themselves. There's wisdom in the Bible to be had about choosing people and who you have around your children and stuff like that. So we really need to start paying more attention to that. I wanted to talk about that in the witness of the week. And something else I'd like to bring to y'all's attention. Another reason for me to feel so strongly about homeschooling. And I'm not going to lie and say that it doesn't get hard, that I don't get tempted to want to send my kids to school at times. But then I read stuff like this. She was 14. Girl straddled by drag queen at North Carolina show, sparking outrage. A drag queen straddled a girl during a racy performance at a North Carolina community college. Now, in case you missed it, okay, it's a whole drag queen, okay? Let's call it what it is. A man straddled a girl. A grown man straddled a 14-year-old girl. A viral video shows the man It's a man busting a lap dance like move on the apparent teenager at Forsyth Technical Community College Pride Fest with students as young as 14 in attendance. Okay. The man wrapped his legs around the student as the girl sits in a chair in the restaurant. Okay. Parents of children, here's the kicker. Parents of children under 18 were not notified of this event in advance. So you mean to tell me that you can have a whole pride celebration at school? And I know what y'all thinking. It's a community college. Stop, pause, blink. My kids, my junior, as a matter of fact, is in dual enrollment at the local community college. So there are high schoolers that attend community colleges daily. Here's the man, okay, and here's the girl. This man with his business, because his business is still attached, with his business all up in this child's face. And again, the parents didn't know. Nobody knew. Nobody asked. There was no permission slip sent out, okay? And here's what they're doing in the schools now. You don't have to tell your parents if you want your name changed, if you want to go by another gender. You can tell your teachers and counselors, and the teachers and counselors will get in trouble if you tell your parents. I'm sorry, if they tell your parents. So there's no help for parents at all. There's no help. Nobody's going to tell you anything. Your child can be going to Planned Parenthood right now and be on birth control, be taking whatever. And no one is under any obligation to tell you. Not your child, not the doctor, not the counselor, not anyone. And so you have this going on in schools. And please don't think it's just happening at community colleges. There are stories every day about drag queen hour at the library. This stuff is really happening. And it's, we refuse to believe that our section of the system is corrupt. Like, oh no, that would never happen where I live. Honey, a Christian school was just shot up. A Christian school was just shot up by a member of the T in the eligibility community. So we're none of us are immune, and our children are not immune either. And I plead with you, please, if you have the ability, if you can in any way, even if it's a sacrifice to you, it's worth it to preserve your children from the world, because there's no age limit on it right now. There's no age limit. It used to be they would keep you from stuff until you were 21. Then it was 18. And now they're trying to give consent to children as young as 12. They're trying to say that a 12-year-old can consent to sex. The stories that we hear about the kind of books that they are allowing in school libraries, books that are teaching sexual preferences, how to perform sexual acts. These are books that are available to our elementary and middle schoolers, but you'll ban Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. You'll ban Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. You'll ban these books that deal with real life actual situations, but allow this propaganda. I can't deal with it. Homeschool your kids. Homeschool your kids. Okay, on to our main topic. Why Boaz don't want your ass? You only like the idea of him. And it's like, what do you mean I only like the idea of him? Before we get into this, like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Y'all see my shirt my baby got me? Baby got me this shirt. I had to wear it for her today. Okay. So, and I know what you're saying, like, the idea. What do you mean I only like the idea of him? So, listen. when you first start dating, right? It's wonderful because you're still in school, you live with your parents, he lives with his parents. He's not responsible for you yet. He just wants to take you out and show you a good time. Okay? That's great. And then even throughout your dating life, you begin to form an idea of what you want your married life to look like, right? Even if you don't end up marrying this guy, you know what you want your married life to look like. And um, even to the point that some women will pick out everything, even if they don't have the man yet. I've seen it. They'll have the dress. They will. There is a television show where these women literally had venues rented. Okay, they would have cakes. They would literally have everything ready for a wedding, except a husband. And so I feel like a lot of us, because of the fact that we don't grow up seeing marriages, we don't grow up seeing our mothers accommodating a man. A lot of us grow up with the idea of marriage, our idea. We grow up with our idea of how our life is going to be. We just feel like we just need a husband to fill in the husband parts. And because we don't have a biblical understanding of our roles in marriage, we tend to feel like the husband's part is just to provide the paycheck, provide the sperm, help me conceive the babies, carry in the groceries, get the oil changes. We just want to relegate him to what this feminist matriarchal culture has told us a man's job should be in the home. And I come to tell you that that is destructive, it is malignant, and it is a lot of our problem. You cannot expect a man who was designed to rule and to abide and to protect and just literally pour his soul, lay down his life for you. Now, you cannot ask the same man to come in and be constricted to what your ideas of a man should be. You who's never lived with a man, you who's never had a healthy, productive relationship with a man, you who don't even know your father. And I'm not saying it's our fault. I'm not saying it's our fault. But what I'm saying is we have to realize that this is a problem, especially as we're out here trying to date and be married. Okay. Um, and I tell y'all this, I've said it before. I had the same issue when I got married. I thought my life was going to look one way, not really understanding that, you know what, I was meant to conform to my husband's vision, and we should have sat down and had more conversations about that. Right? I should have had a full understanding of his vision for me as his wife, for me as his helpmeet, as the mother of his children. Okay? Because every man's gonna want something different, right? My husband likes me being at home. He want the house clean, he want his food cooked. This is why I'm here. Some men are not like that. Some men want their wives to have a career, or some men would be supportive in their wives having a career. And that's cool too. But when you get to that, you need to understand or make sure that you are both on the same page in how you balancing your career and your marriage and parenthood is going to look. Okay? Because I know when I was wore out. Like, my job took a lot out of me, okay? Because I wasn't doing 40 hours a day. I'm like 50, 60 hours a week, excuse me, a day, a week. I'm doing like 50, 60 hours a week, okay? Um, and it's one thing to work 50, 60 hours a week as a single parent, right? Because, yeah, I still gotta come home and deal with the kids, but I don't have an adult, um, and I'm gonna say a codependent adult that I am responsible for. Now, hear what I'm saying. Codependent is not a bad word, okay? It just means that we both depend on each other. We both lean on each other. And when it comes to the emotional aspect of marriage, that's how you're supposed to be. Okay? My husband pours into me so that I can pour back into him. He doesn't just pour into me and then I just walk around with my ego inflated. No, he pours into me so I can pour back into him. And that's the this is the element that we miss when it comes to sex in a marriage. Um a lot of people just don't want to accept that concept. But God didn't put us together this way for no reason. You understand what I'm saying? So even in your courting time, um you should be paying attention to the role that he has constructed for you. Being that you are going to be his future wife or plan to be or trying to be, whatever stage of dating courting you're in. These are the things that you should be examining, right? Um, how much does he what is submission to him? See, because here the idea of a man is, oh, he's just gonna come in and he's just gonna do all the things that I want, and he's just here to make me happy. That is what marriage has become to us. It, it's the dating, the pictures on Instagram, the wedding planning, the pictures on Instagram, the wedding, the videos on TikTok, the honeymoon, the pictures. And then once that phase wears off, what are you doing? What is your day-to-day life looking like? The idea of a man is, well, my life is going to continue normally. I'm going to just do what I normally do, except now I have a husband. See, this is the idea of a husband. This is the idea of marriage, okay? But the reality of a husband and the reality of marriage is, more than likely, there's going to have to be some changes to your life. Um, let's just start with your home, okay? Uh the idea of a man is he's going to come in and be just as comfortable in my surroundings as I am. But the reality of a man is that man been on this earth for however many years he's been here, hopefully close to however many years you've been here. And he has his own life, he has his own taste, he has his wants, his needs, and his routine as well. Okay. Um Me and my husband was just talking the other day. One of the fights we got into when we first got married was about folding the pajamas and putting them at the bottom of the bed. And you might be like, that's a stupid issue to argue over. Yes, it is. Okay, but when you when you live with someone now, you understand what I'm saying? The idea of marriage is he just gonna be fine with whatever I do around the house. He just gonna be happy I'm here to clean. He just gonna be happy I'm here to cook. But the reality of marriage is that man has opinions. That man has taste. Just like you've pictured your life and how you want it to be, he's been doing the same thing. I don't know when we got to the point in a society where we feel like men don't want a future as well. It's like we feel like they're just, okay, walking around being Neanderthals. No, that's not true. When they start dating, they start picturing their future too. They are picturing their future marriage, their future wife, their future. They have these thoughts as well. So for you to think that somebody's just going to come in and go with your program is where a lot of our problems come into, right? Because our heads have been filled with, oh, we're the more spiritual ones, we're the spiritual heads of our household. Okay, and sure, I know what you're saying. Like nobody, you think nobody has said that, because I'm not going to sit here and say that it hasn't been said, because I've had it be said to me when I was single. It was the whole thing of, oh no, you're too spiritually strong. You got to make sure you marry you a bishop because you can't just be with anybody. And true facts, like I couldn't just be with anybody, but it's the inflation of a person's spiritual fortitude, a woman's spiritual fortitude to make her think that she could compare to a man. And now listen, I know everybody's at different stages in their spiritual walk, but ma'am, sis, cousin, it would be unwise for you to choose a man who is not able to lead, guide, direct, and educate you. Yes, educate you. I know we don't like to feel like anybody can tell us anything. What? I'm grown. I got it all together. What can this man tell me? Listen to me. There is another side of life than just our emotions, okay? And I know a lot of us feel like, oh, I'm in tune with the Lord. My praise and worship is off the chain. I be speaking in tongues and, God talks to me. And I, no, that's not right. It's not right. I don't care how much you pray. I don't care how much you run around a church. I don't care how much you think you dance and shout and all that. It is never appropriate for you to feel like you are the head of your household in any way. That's out of order. And if that's how you're feeling, then you need to pray about that. Because that's out of order. That is not what God intended. Okay. The other side to your emotions is your logic. And while women grow up refining our emotional health, men grow up refining their logic. And I hate to keep using myself in these examples, but I don't know who else to talk about. So, I can be honest and say that I did not realize this until I started receiving what my husband was trying to tell me. Um, it's hard. Let me tell y'all. Um, and hear me, I wanted to be a housewife. I wanted to be home with my children, but I did not even at that time understand the full biblical responsibility of marriage. I did not understand the responsibility of being the helpmeet to an entrepreneur, okay? Um, I didn't understand the ins and outs and the ups and downs of homeschooling. I liked the idea of it. This is what I wanted to do. But when it comes to the reality of it, how many of us are willing to really like put the work in and put the grit in and stick by it through the thick and thin, the good days and the bad days and the days when everybody just getting on your nerves. And ladies, that's like 14 to 15 out of 30 days for us. Some of us is more than that. Okay. I don't, you know, Feminism has not prepared us for life. It really hasn't. This whole equality woke movement, it's really done us a disservice. Um, because if I go to the gym, right, and I'm trying to deadlift, and somebody looks at me and says, "Yeah, you can lift this 300 pounds," and I'm trying to, no, I can't. Yes, you can. You can do anything that man can do. You can lift that 300 pounds. Now, if my stupid tail go over there, listen, I could barely pull myself up. Okay, I might be able, I might be able to do one good pull up. All right. I'm If I go over there and try to deadlift that 300 pounds, I'm probably going to crush myself. Much like we women do when we are out here trying to live this modern interpretation of what femininity, womanhood, and equality looks like. Okay. You crush yourself out here trying to be a man. And the thing that you don't understand is it's not just hurting you, single mothers, it's hurting your children as well. You don't realize that you taking on all the pressure, you taking on all the stress, especially for those of y'all that has a man at home that's trying to help, that's willing to help. I don't know why I'm saying this. and you just refuse to let him. You feel like he's not gonna do it the way you want it done, and it's not good enough, and all this other stuff. Ma'am, sis, cousin, let me give you a hint. As somebody who went through that, let him do it. Let him do it. Okay. It may not be perfect. It may not be the way you like it done, but it's gonna be done. All right. He might not put up the dishes after he washed them, but they washed. So he forgot to give the kids a shower before he put them to bed. They quiet and they fed. Okay, you got to learn how to appreciate what you can get, okay? Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. So liking the idea of a person. I'm gonna tell you, it happens to us all the time, really. You like a guy, y'all start talking or whatever, and then he just do something to get on your nerves. And then you just find this little annoying habit. So we go through this. We go through the idea of a person versus the reality of a person multiple times in our lives. But again, I think it's not seeing the accommodation of a man in his space that really just like has us in a bad place. You know, if you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, a few years ago, when Candy and Todd were dating and getting married, Candy was talking about her mother had told her not to buy her house because she was saying you want to leave room for a man to do something in your life. Okay. And I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that. Like, boo, if you got money to buy a house, buy a house. And when y'all get married, you can rent it out. Here's another stream of income. So I'm not saying I agree with that. But what she was saying is you don't want a man to come in feeling like he doesn't have anything to do or anything to add to you. Because what wound up happening with them, and I don't know if y'all watched the show, but like Todd really went through it because of course everybody thought, oh, you just here for Candy's money. And I can't necessarily say I blame her family for feeling that way because I mean, this is Candy freaking Burris, okay? And you come with nothing. You're an assistant producer, I think he was at the time, an assistant producer on a reality show that she's on. So, and I know what some people might be saying, like, well, if it was a woman, nobody would think that way. True. Very true. Okay. And look, I'm not mad at Todd. Why not marry up if you can? I mean, I'm not mad at that. But how different might it have been, if he was able to do that for her? And again, I'm not saying it's her fault. This is not her fault for being financially good, for having her stuff together. It's not her fault at all. Okay. So it almost begs the question, why not marry somebody that's on your equal financial footing? I don't know. I don't want to get into that because we could go another place with that. But the idea of a man versus the reality of him, if you're in that situation, right? You're set, you're good. You only need a man for companionship. What if he wants more than that? Are you willing to give him more than that? Um and even like, okay, let's go to another level. Let's talk about emotionally. Let's talk about spiritually. Because that's where it all starts, right? Do you feel like there's room in your relationship? And see, here's what I don't like. I don't like this whole I'm married to Jesus thing. I don't like it because it's a little weird. If you understand what marriage truly is, it's a little weird for, you know, for that to be the thing. I see what you're saying. Marriage is more than we think it is. It takes work and compromises. Yes, work and compromises, but on a different level. With the compromises, because you are okay, let me just say this. When I was thinking about a husband, I always wanted to be with somebody who could educate me, who could teach me things, who could give me life lessons. I never pictured myself with a subservient man. Like, I knew that wasn't going to work for me. I didn't want anybody that I could run over. We would be in a poorhouse right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my financial, skills. It doesn't matter how much money a woman has. A husband is ahead. Yes, exactly. Yes. So here's the problem. When a woman is financially set and she gets with a man who is not, is that woman in a position to still submit to that man? Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Even when the man is making more money, even when the man is making all the money, submission is a challenge. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's a challenge. And I'm not saying I always get it right. Okay. Um, because again, I grew up with the idea of this is my house because I'm the woman. This is my house. This is my kitchen. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. This is all I saw in my life. I never saw my mom having to consult with my dad about paint colors. She wanted to throw up some paint. She just threw up some paint. She decided she wanted to move something a certain way. She just moved it a certain way. She wanted a pink bedspread. She got a pink bedspread. She didn't have to think about what this man wanted. Okay, but now my reality is my husband is very involved. I can't turn to him and be on some, well, this is my house. I keep this house clean. This is my house, and we're gonna do what I say. And this is no way to grow. This is no way to develop. Okay. So even now, where we are, um, yes, we're a partnership. Okay, and here's the here's the intricacies of being a stay-at-home mom, right? Like, yes, we're a partnership. I handle the home, the administration, and all this other stuff, right? But at the end of the day, like, none of this would be necessary. None of it would be needed if my husband wasn't out here working every day. Okay. Um, so we need each other. We're really useless without each other. Um, we're useless without each other. Cause okay, you're out there working, but what is the money going into? Where are you laying your head? What are you eating? Okay. How are you living? How are your clothes getting? How are you maintaining your life outside of this job? Okay, yes, I'm the answer for that. But then how am I living? How are you paying the bills for the hot water to clean the house? How are you buying the food to cook? How are you have the money to keep the lights on and teach the kids how to read? You understand what I'm saying? Where's the money coming from for the Wi-Fi, for the educational videos, for the hooked on funding? Where it's a team effort. And if you would just yield to the fact that what you had in your mind was just an idea, what you had in your mind, what is or was a compilation of things you've seen, things you've heard, other people's experiences, thoughts that you've had that have led you to think this way. But it's not necessarily conducive to your situation. Not necessarily saying it's right or wrong, but it's not necessarily conducive to where you're trying to go. Okay. And here's the thing. When you know where you're trying to go, it's easier now to submit to those things. Okay. Like my husband just rolled out another plan. Okay. It's easier for me to submit to it because I've seen his plans work in the past. He's worked plan after plan for 9 years, and we've been steadily growing. All praises to the Most High. So now when he comes to me with another plan, I don't have a reason to doubt. I don't have a reason to question. I don't have a reason to any of that. Not saying I don't ask questions, but I mean, I don't have a reason to doubt my husband and him doing what he says he's going to do. Okay? And so I know a lot of you may be saying like, well, that's not my testimony with my husband, and I'm sorry. But what I am going to say to the single sisters is this is the stuff you need to be paying attention to while you're dating, while you're courting. Is he working? Is he working? Okay. If he's telling you that he wants to be an entrepreneur, is he pushing towards that? Is there anything that's going towards that? And I see what I don't like that I'm seeing a lot of on the internet now is all these women on these platforms talking about a man gotta have this and a man gotta have that, and you better not ask me to bring nothing to the table, and I'm not helping you build nothing, and you need to have it all when I get here, as if you're some great prize. Ma'am, you're not even a virgin. You can't even offer the man some fresh, and then you got the nerve. And see, here's what we continue to do over and over again. We will sit here and acknowledge the plight of our people, acknowledge the condition of the people of the diaspora and how we've just been oppressed these 400 years, and we have had no socioeconomic growth, not in the leaps and bounds of our Caucasian counterparts, right? We can sit here and go through all this, but you'll still look a black man in the face and tell him that he better come with it all. But then when they turn out here and start trapping and end up in jail, now you want to talk about how niggas is sorry and they can't keep a job and they lazy and all they do is go to jail. We cannot keep doing this. We unfortunately keep perpetuating this cycle within our own community. We are destroying ourselves, trying to look on the outside and live as other people live. We do not have the advantages of generational wealth. Not a lot of us, not the majority of us. No, he can't pick you up and take you on a private jet to Paris for lunch, but man, get ready. He's going to take you to Ruth Chris. Y'all don't want to help anybody build anything. And listen to me, I'm not saying to be ignorant, to be stupid, or anything at all like that. I will offer this advice. Stop putting your name on the bills and start putting your name on the assets, okay? Start getting your name on some LLCs, on some bank accounts. Y'all so quick to put a nigga on your phone plan, but you won't make him put your name on nothing else. And that is not smart. I'm not building something if I don't have no stake on it, my name ain't in it nowhere. Now that I absolutely do not agree with. Okay, but if this man is coming to you in a partnership, all right, willing to work half and half with you on everything, the good and the bad, why you turn your nose up at that? And then you'll be the same one on this God-given internet talking about how you can't find a good man and all this other stuff. When in actuality, you probably had a couple of good men and you just sent them away because you were foolish. And now all you got left is the riffraff No, that's your own fault. See, you can have what these people aspire to, but you're only going to get it one way. And a lot of people don't understand temporary wealth and temporary flash. Okay? Um, there are ways to make quick money. Sure. Ask a scammer. Also ask a scammer, how long does it last? See what I'm saying? We'll go out here for the quick fix, right? Because that's what you do, and we can ball out and take pictures and make everybody think we're doing it up. In the meanwhile, you go home and you sleep on a mattress that look like a tea bag. And a lot of y'all do it. A lot of y'all do it. Okay? So, a man listen, men have personalities just like we do, okay? They have likes and dislikes, they have wants and they have needs. And for some reason, we've been taught to just minimize men to their need of sex and food. You feel like the two F's should be fine for him. And this may have worked in those fly by night flings that you had. And you might be like, well, I was with him for 2 years. Child, it was a fling. It was a 2-year fling. We all know how it goes. Okay. That may work in those situations, and they may let you do what you want, seemingly let you do what you want, and kind of just let you go about your way because they're not permanently stuck with you. They know they're not going to marry you, so they don't really care how you treat them. It's like, okay, whatever. I just came for some coochie anyway. So they don't care. You can talk crazy. They're going to laugh it off. Ha, ha, ha. Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. But I promise you, boo-boo, when you get with your husband, it's not going to be like that because he got to spend the rest of his life with you. So no, he's gonna have something to say about your attitude. He's gonna have something to say about your smart mouth, about your sarcastic tone. Just like sometimes it's like, oh, he's so funny, ha ha ha, joke, joke, joke. And then tomorrow it's like, you know what? I don't even feel like hearing your little jokes right now. You getting on my nerves. They go through that too. We all have good days and bad days. We all have moments. Okay, you could be having a perfectly fine day and you get a phone call and now your mind is just wrecked for an hour. Do you think that this doesn't happen to men? And even more so, I know for my listen, I barely nobody calls me for nothing. Not nothing serious. They call him. Okay? And but you have to allow that. Excuse me. And this is what I'm saying about the reality of a person, okay? Like I'm the kind of person where sometimes I just shut down. Like I don't want to talk. I just need to deal with my feelings right now. Um, and being that I know that about myself, if I feel like my husband is going through that, then I'll just kind of sit back and give him that space. Um, especially when he's working. Like when he's working and he's like in it, I don't bother him. If I need something, I will ask, but I try not to bother him because I know how frustrated I would be in that situation. See, and we got to stop and think, exercise our empathy, okay, before we find ourselves in these dangerous situations where we getting knocked upside the head or something. Right? And I do not, I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again. I in no way condone violence. I don't condone men hitting women. I don't condone women hitting men. Okay. Full stop, pause. Ma'am, sis cousin, if you put a hand on that man, you deserve what's coming to you. I'm sorry. Don't keep your hands off people children. Okay. Um, and when it comes to the men, like I was saying earlier, you see the signs. You know this man is getting upset. Even if his voice don't raise, you see his jaw flexing, you see his fist flex, you see the signs of his anger. And for some reason, some of y'all get a kick out of how far can I push him? How far is it gonna go? Now, ma'am, sis, cousin, it's some of y'all out there that feel like you need to be beat on in order to feel love. Like, what do you mean? If you get in an argument and that man don't raise up on you, you gonna feel like he don't care. If you get dressed to go somewhere and that man don't have a problem with it, you're gonna feel like, oh, he must not love me. You are a dangerous woman and I'm gonna need you to get help. Okay, because what you would like to do is you would like to push this man until he's freaking beating your skull in, and then everybody's gonna be looking at him crazy. And again, I'm not saying it's right, okay? But as my good sis right here says, wisdom. Wisdom. How about I don't anger this 200-pound man who I know could flip me if he wanted to? Here, and this is what I'm saying. See, the idea of a man is I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna pout, and I'm gonna get my way. And we get this idea from these trash rom-coms that he's gonna show up with 12 dozen flowers and whisk me away, and whatever I did wrong doesn't matter anymore because we're gonna have this magical evening and we're gonna make up and I'm gonna put this hoo-hoo on him and he gonna forget about it. The reality of a man is he's not going to keep putting up with that ish, ma'am, sis, cousin. That's not how it works in reality. Okay. Here's the thing, and it's hard to accept, and I almost don't want to say it because I know if people get a hold of this clip, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I know it may look like there's no clear right or wrong. It may look like, well, I could be right or he could be right. Both of these things could work. But in biblical order, you're going to conform to what your husband is saying. Okay? That is biblical order. And I know nobody likes to look at that, but we have to, we have to get back to biblical order. That's the only way we're going to fix things. Okay? Just like with God, sometimes you may be feeling like you're what you want could work out just fine. Like what I want sounds great. This could work. Nobody's gonna get hurt. Lord, why I can't have this? But God knows what's best for you. So he gives you what you need. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of y'all don't have that kind of trust and faith in your husband. And listen, I'm not saying that the husband is without reproach. I'm not saying that, oh, this man is totally perfect. He's never going to do anything wrong. No, what I'm saying is when you signed on to become Mrs. So and so, you signed on to become the help meet, not the parade leader. Okay. Not the you're not the commander in chief. All right. You are the CFO. All right. You're the deputy director. You're not totally in charge. At that point, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but at the point that you're married, your husband's vision becomes the right path. Okay. Uh, for my single sisters, hear me though. If you are noticing in your dating that he does not seem to be receptive of your input, red flag. Pay attention to that. Okay. And no, he's not going to do what you say every time. 7 to 8 times out of 10, he's probably not going to take your advice. Okay. But you need to know that your input at least registers. Okay. Because once you get married, that's it. That's what I need y'all to understand. Once you take that commitment, you are locked in. And now your job is to follow your husband in his vision. Your job is to become his helpmeet. He didn't ask you to create the vision. Him and the Most High have already come up with the vision for his life. And I'm telling you right now, if that man don't have a vision for his life, you shouldn't have a vision for him. He don't got no business dating. But let me tell you, you have no business dating a man with no vision for his life. If that man can't tell you about his career, his finances, and his future, then you need to give him some time to develop that. Okay. And I've heard this from other men, and I feel like in my personal experience, this has proven to be true. If a man has not figured himself out career-wise and financially, I don't feel like he's in a stable place in his life to begin thinking of taking on the responsibility of a wife and a family. At least that's what I would tell my daughters. Okay. Um, and I try to be real with y'all, and I try to talk to y'all. And again, I understand that everybody wants different lifestyles. Okay. But I'm going to assume that we all want to live well. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure none of us want to be struggling to pay bills. None of us want to be riding around in cars that we got to worry about getting fixed every 2 weeks. Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to live in the projects. Nobody wants to live in low income housing. Nobody wants to be poor. Okay. But we have to realize that there are decisions that we have to make in order to prevent that. Now, some of us did the right thing the first time. We went to college, got a career. All praises to the Most High, that worked out. Some of us didn't go to college. Some of us have decided to get it out the mud. All praises to the Most High. Okay. But whatever your plan is, Mams's cousin, listen, I can't express the importance of paying attention to who you marry. Pay attention to who you are dating, even, because who you date is who you will marry. Okay. When it comes to dating, you should be moving up. If your first boyfriend was working on the floor, your next boyfriend needs to be the manager. The third one needs to be the one owning it. And your husband needs to be the one that owns him. I'm just saying, there needs to be a progression. You should be learning from each relationship, each situation. This is why I'm saying date men that can teach you something. Y'all both working at Walmart. I'm just being honest. If I was working at Walmart, I'm not marrying somebody that works at Walmart too. How are you going to help me? What are you going to teach me? How are we going to advance? It's the man's job to advance. Yes, it is. And see, this is what I'm saying. You can't have both things. Like, you can't what's the word I'm looking for? You can't begrudge a man the opportunity to lead. You can't begrudge a man his God-given right to be the head of his household just because you don't like the choices you made. I know that's ugly and it may sound harsh, but if a lot of y'all will be honest with yourselves, you knew this man's faults before you married him. You knew. And this is why I constantly say to you single sisters, be careful, because once you get married, you're stuck. You're stuck. And I know you might be, I can get divorced. I can get no. First of all, we don't condone divorce. Okay. We don't support that. None of that. We've both been through it. Okay. So I can tell you, if I wish I would have never had to go through that. Like, I honestly wish that my husband would have just, stopped playing his little teenage games. We could have got together when we was in high school, and lived happily ever after. Okay, but it didn't turn out like that for me. But I wish to prevent any one of you from going down that same path. Let your first marriage be your last marriage, and may it last for the remaining of your long, healthy lives. Okay. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Okay. And part of, see, this is the reason why our fathers would be involved with our dating. Our fathers would be helping us to pick a husband. A man knows what a man um a man knows what a man needs to move forward in life. Okay? A man can come to you as a woman and tell you anything. You're not a man. You haven't lived that life. You don't know what it takes. You don't know what it looks like to see a man get up every day and go to work responsibly. You don't know what a man's exercising his patience looks like. Okay. But your father does, your uncle does, the elder does. So bring that man to them. You can't see through everything, but father, uncle, elder will see right through all that mess and send that nigga bopping along his way. I forgot who was telling the story, but his daughter was going out on a date. And he asked the young man, "What's your intention with my daughter?" And he was like, "Oh, we just kicking it." Do she know y'all just kicking it? Did my daughter sign up to be just kicking it? You know, these are the things that you need men for. Run these men by some real solid men that you know in your life. Stop being out here trying to pick your own husband. That was never God's intention. Stop thinking that you know more than everybody else. And see, a lot of us get like that. Oh, well, you can't tell me nothing. You not paying my bills. You ain't got nothing to say to me. Da 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 da. But then as soon as something pop off, these are the same people you want to look to for help and advice. No, ma'am, sis cousin, if you would have listened a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, when we were trying to tell you to stay away from old knucklehead, you wouldn't be in this situation. You are not equipped to pick a man of your own bearing, of your own wit. Okay? Stop listening to people who have not been through what you are trying to go through. You will listen to all the angry single women tell you what to require in a man, but are they helping you trying to figure out how to pick the right one? What are they offering you that you can use in your daily life? I'm telling you what I'm offering you, the Bible. Verse after verse after verse about picking a person, proving a person, things that they should and should not be doing. There's a whole chapter in Sirach that talks about how to act at a party. Do you know the Bible says don't be the last to leave the party and don't wander by the door, go home. The Bible says this. Okay, so there really is wisdom for your life in there. And unfortunately, in this I want everything quick, what they like to call a microwave popcorn generation, we just feel like, you know, the man that we want should just fall out of the sky and conform to us and do everything we want. And his only job in life is to make us happy. Like he only lives to provide for us financially and to make us happy with everything we want. I'm gonna tell you something right now. If my husband, was out here trying to give me everything I want, child, we would be in a poorhouse. We would have a nice car, but we would be in debt. We'd probably still be renting a home. We have a high behind car note. And let me say this. My mind now is starting to change. Because I have seen my husband's plans work. we're at the point now where we're talking about buying our own land. Our own land, okay? So now the things that I would have felt are important are not that important. Like, sure, a few years ago, the goal was to have, brand new cars but now it's like, as long as we got cars that are decent and run, then brand new cars can wait. Now, okay, yes, I want a nice bag, but I'll go to the outlet for that mug. I don't care where it came from. That's not important to me. Me having a logo and worrying about someone's opinion when they look at me, that's not important to me. What's more important to me is for you to pull up to where I'm living and your jaw drop. That's what's important now. That's the goal. But even beyond that, I don't mean to sound shallow, but even beyond that, when I'm old, when we're old and can't work anymore, you know, we want to have a secure home. We want our children to have a secure home. If I had my way, my kids would never have to buy a house. Like our vision is to have enough land with enough houses to where our family can settle here. Okay, so when your mind is on those things, these little silly things don't matter. And not just financially, this affects you emotionally as well. The silly little petty arguments, it's like, whatever. And that's another thing. We always expect men to give in to us without expecting to ever have to give in to them. And that's just not fair. Just like you want consideration, he wants consideration too. And I know nobody likes to hear this, but the fact is, he's entitled to more consideration than you. And so, again, single sisters, check out all of these things before you marry him. How does he treat you? Listen to me. When the way he treats you when you're dating, it's not going to get I want to say it's not going to get more exciting than that. Okay? Let me cuz it's supposed to get better. As you grow, like, things change. You care more deeply for each other. There are other wider parts of your life for him to be more concerned about, okay? While you're dating, he's not responsible for you. He's not paying your bills, okay? His job is to impress you at that time. And I know a lot of people are like, why the dates can't be free? Listen, you like free dates? Go for it. I was never that type. But so whatever you like, okay? If you're not even reaching that when you're dating, you're not gonna get anywhere near it when you get married, honey. Because when you're married, he got you. What you gonna do? It's not gonna get any better. If you do not feel special, if he don't make you feel like he love you, he like you when you're dating, listen to me. When you get married, it is going to be an even harder mountain to climb. How is he financially when you're dating? If you ask him for help with a bill, is he willing to help? And does he just stop at the help or does he give you extra? Think about this because listen, this is the stuff that you ignore. And then a year or two later, you on the phone talking about, I want to get a divorce, but it's a sin. No, yes, it is a sin to get divorced. And also the sin was you not exercising your wisdom while you were dating each other. You listen, once you sign the contract, it's really up to him. And I don't think we realize that. Like, you are really putting your life in this man's hands. And so, I got my own career. I got my own this. I got my own that. You get married, right? And this has happened all the time. Not even get married, all right? You hook up with a dude and you decide to let him come live with you. Why you want to shack up? I don't know. That's stupid. But you decide to let this man come live with you. Y'all getting it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days go by. Y'all get in an argument and you call the police because you want him out your house, but he's saying he ain't got nowhere to go and he ain't leaving. Now you call the police and guess what the police gonna tell you? He live here. If you want to put him out, you got to go to court and evict him. Unless he put his hands on you, unless there was like some kind of violence involved, they're not going to make him leave. You're stuck with him. And this is, what y'all who get confident in the things of the world, you get confident in your financial success, in your ego, in your status, and you feel like, oh, I'm invincible, nothing's ever gonna bring me down. Ma'am, sis, cousin, let me assure you that nothing will bring you down more than the wrong person. Nothing will humble you, nothing will lower you to your knees faster than having the wrong person in your life. Okay? If you've never been trapped by a homosexual, it is an experience to not be had. And so I suggest that y'all stop getting with hobos. There's no other way around it. You'll see a man's actions. You see his behavior. Pay attention to how he treats other people. Is he nice to his mom and them? How does he talk to his friends? How does he interact with his sister? You like the idea of a man, but you won't pay attention to the details to really get to know him. And that's where the trouble comes. You just want a man, not paying attention to the fact that he seems to get angry really quickly. He gets set off about the smallest little thing. Not paying attention to every time y'all go out, you paying for the meal. You're not paying attention to any of this. And see, a lot of you will be in a situationship, not realizing it's a situationship, waiting for it to turn into marriage, wondering why it's not paying attention to what he's saying to you. He never said he wanted to marry you. He said, yes, he wanted to get married one day. He didn't say to you. He said one day. He didn't even say soon. But all you heard is, ooh, girl, he looking for marriage. That's all you heard. We like the idea of a man, but we don't like the reality of him. So we'll conceive a baby with the man and deprive our baby of their father. We'll make a baby with you, but we won't give this baby a full family. We won't give this baby a complete home because I don't want to accommodate you. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want you telling me nothing. I want to come when I want to come. I want to go when I want to go. I want to raise my child how I want to raise my child. And then when you call in hither, thither, and yonder because you can't figure out why your son's so angry, or you can't figure out why your daughter wants so much attention. Now all of a sudden it's I need the community. I need the community. Well, the community told you to get married before you had children, but you didn't want to listen to that. And you know what? Actually, that's wrong what I just said because the community is messed up these days. I'm sorry, the community is the one telling y'all to be single mothers. The village is destroyed and turned upside down. The village that used to rebuke the shacking up, the village that used to rebuke the unwed mothers. And here's the thing. We have been accommodating the lowest of us. Instead of us standing on what we know is right, even in Black church, okay? Even in Black church, instead of us standing on our tenements and what we knew was right, we slowly began to give way to the eligibility community, to the hypersexualization of our society, and anything else that wanted to creep in. So now we got a church full of unwed mothers. Let me think, I don't want to speak out of turn. But when I was younger, growing up in church, I mean, I've been in church all my life. In the younger days, no, even back then, I don't recall seeing a lot of husbands. There was always more single mothers in the church because they like the idea of a man. He feels good. You know, he wear big shoes. He tall. He make me laugh. But when it's time for you to accommodate him, when it's time for him to have a say on how he wants to raise his child, when it's time for him to have a say on what he do or don't want, how he wants his home to look, how he wants his life to, when it's time for him to ask you to change who you are so that you all can advance and excel. This is the reality of a man. And this is where we tend to cut it off. Like, oh no, you're asking for too much. I can be pretty, I can be fun, I can be flirty, we can have a good time. I'll even have your baby. But you want to tell me what to do? What? I got to answer to you when I want to go somewhere. I got to consult with you before I spend my money. My money. You want to have something to say about where I'm going and how I look and how I'm dressed? I don't have to put up with that. I'll just be a hoe all my life. Cause that's what y'all do. It would be different if you like left the relationship and then were just celibate. But no, that's not what's happening. When this one starts having requirements of you and starts having expectations of you, oh no, it's time to go on to the next man. And when that man starts expecting anything decent of you, now it's time to go on to the next man. You can't run, you can't keep running all your life. Because guess what? One day you're not going to be able to run. One day it's just going to be you in your chair. You, your thoughts about your life, your regrets, and your memories. And see, when you're young and wild and free and strong and independent, sure, you don't need anyone. But what happens the moment when you're not independent? When your mobility gets a little decreased, when your knees and your hips ain't acting right, when you need some help, but you done pushed everybody away because can't nobody tell you what to do. See, it's all good to get on TikTok and Instagram and make these videos and these reels about what a man better do and what a man needs to do to get with me and all this other stuff. Y'all talk a lot of junk for people looking for someone to take responsibility for you. I don't think you understand. And here again, we don't want to accept the reality of what marriage means for men. He's literally signing up with God to take responsibility for you. He's saying, all right, I got this one. If she do anything, I'm responsible for it. This is mine. You're looking for someone to take responsibility for you in front of God now. Okay? But you got the nerve to sit back and have all these ridiculous standards that you probably don't meet yourself. It's the audacity of women with children expecting a husband with no children for me. That is really just blowing my mind. Why would you want to, first of all? Why would you want to? Why would you want to off the strength of he doesn't know how to parent, never been a parent? And then why would you want to off the strength of robbing him of the life experience of having his first child with someone who that's also their first child? Like that is a beautiful experience. Why would you and I'm gonna say this, why would you and your old rusty dusty behind want to ruin that for him? And you young ladies that don't have any children, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. I know you can't, I know you fall in love and all this other stuff. But if at all preventable, don't sign yourself up to be a ready-made mom. Don't do that. It it's a lot of work and it's a lot of things that you just need to already have experience. You need to have already been a parent to come in and deal with not just that man and his child. Don't forget that child has a mother over there. Okay? And however much she's involved or not involved, whatever is good or bad about her, it's going to affect your life. Okay? And I know what you might be saying, well, that's his baby mama. And so here's the thing, when you're not a parent, it's hard to understand the intricacies of relationships between two people who are not together but are still parents, especially if he's involved in his kid's life and he's taking care of the first of all, you don't want him if he's not taking care of his kids anyway. But so when he's involved in his kid's life and he's taking care of his kid's life, that the necessity of the relationship, the necessity and the amount of communication, or even just things that come up with having children, those are hard, and they can be a strain on a relationship even if you already have kids. It can already be a strain. Okay? So just for like someone who does not have children, I wouldn't put myself through that. Like I wouldn't do that. It, I wouldn't do that. If you can be with someone who doesn't have children and y'all start y'all family together, that's optimal. That's ideal. No shade to blended families. We're a blended family. Okay. I had children and my husband had children and we have children together. So we are a blended family. Okay. But in talking to y'all, I have to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Why would I do that? Lie to you, make it sound fly to you. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the whole nasty, ugly truth. Okay? Just like I don't have no problem looking at some of y'all women in the face and telling you you're not ready to be married. You don't want to be married. You want a toy. You want a friend. You want a companion. You want a homie that's going to take you out to eat. You want a dude that you can hang with when you're lonely, but you're not ready to be married because marriage is a 24/7 full-time commitment. There's in a real marriage, I'm gonna be honest with you, and maybe it's because I just never had like a group of girlfriends like that. I don't get the whole girl trip thing. I Why I want to go somewhere without my man? For what? Now I gotta pay for everything. Now I gotta do everything. Now I gotta find everything. I don't I never understood it. Still don't understand it because I just don't want to be I don't want to be away on a vacation without my man. I don't get it. I don't get it. And the fact of the matter is, any married woman that's constantly running around with her friends is not going to be married for long. And like that's another thing. Y'all not ready to give up your friends. You still want your mama to be the head of your life. Y'all aunties and them. That's who you submit to. Your mama call you and tell you something, and that's it. Auntie say something and that's it. Grandma say something and that's it. But let your husband try to say something and he got to go through hell and hot water for you to hear him. And that's just not right. It's not going to work. It's not the example you should be wanting to set for your children. It's like, my gosh, if you don't care about yourself, at least care enough about your children and the next generation to try to show them a better picture. Try to do better. Give yourself a fighting chance. I'm not saying that everything is perfect. My husband could lose his mind tomorrow, but I gave myself a chance. If it happens, it's totally unexpected. Okay. And now that's different from it happening and everybody sitting around like, well, we told you he was crazy, girl. We told you it wasn't going to work. Now we told you. That's what you don't want. Okay. But that's what I'm telling you. Give yourself a fighting chance. Do your homework. Do your research. Pay attention to this man. And most importantly, pray to God. And here's what we like to do. And how do I know we like to do it? Because I've done it before. We like to pray, God, if he ain't for me, take him away. And then the next day, you and him get an argument and, he hang up on you and he gone. And your silly butt go call him back. Your silly butt gonna call him back. Now you ask God, take him away from you. You said, if he ain't for me, take him away. He gone. Gone. What do? Go back and look for him. I mean, come on, we can't do that. How serious are you about your future? And here's what I'm gonna say. Even if you're not, even if you're saying like, okay, well, I'm not that serious about getting married yet, having the wrong man around you is just a bad look. And it can be very dangerous and destructive. Mom. Yes, Atticus. Daddy told you to tell me that? Okay. Say hi to everybody. Say shalom and shalom.
Shalom and shalom, sisters.
You don't have to say the sisters and cousins part. Was you just outside?
No.
Oh, he wasn't outside. Okay. This my Atticus, my baby, my 5-year-old. So, ooh, your belly full. So it is about time for me to wrap it up. I hope something I said this evening was helpful to you, was edifying to you.
One time.
Angelina says, shalom, nephew. Say shalom, auntie.
3 times.
All right, you guys can join me here. Boy, you guys can join me back here next.
Doing gang lanes.
Well, he came here and said I had to wrap it up. I thought maybe I wasn't watching the time. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to write up you know what? I need a program schedule. That's what I need. Let's talk about the businesses of the House of Mono really quickly. I know I went through them a little bit last week. I'm going to get like some flyers or something so I can show y'all. But hold on. If you are not following my husband, please give him a follow on all socials at Monologue McGad, MONOLOG MAGAD. He is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the TikTok, although I don't think he uses it very much. I am at the wife of Mono. Please feel free to give me a follow. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. so you can keep up with us and what we have going on. Now, to get to the businesses of the House of Mono, we have the Print Doctors, which is our screen printing business. You can find it at facebook.com/the Print Doctors. And our Bouncy House business, which services the metro Atlanta area, is Top Tier Parties. Okay, they can be found at facebook.com/Top Tier Parties. Yeah, if you go there, you'll see the flyers and everything. Sir, are you yawning? Are you bored? Do you want to leave?
No.
If you would like to donate to the ministry here at the House of Mono, I think we have to change that. Okay, but I think that's the Cash App right now. $, the wife of Mono for the Cash App. If you would like to donate to help us keep this going, because we have cameras and lights and things that we have to pay for, and advertising that we're going to start paying for. So if the Lord puts it on your heart to help us out, then Instagram. I'm so sorry. Okay. Actually, both of the businesses are on Instagram now. We started posting on Instagram. So it's at the Print Doctors, spelled how it sounds. Give us a follow on Instagram, and also Top Tier Parties, TOP TIERPART. I think it's IES because somebody had the Y. I think so. I'm gonna check that out. I'll have it up on the screen for next week. That's what we're gonna do. We'll have it up on the screen for next week. And also, if you have the Messiah TV app, I am there live every Thursday night from 8 to 10 o'clock, which is right now. And also our past shows are there. So if you want to go back and take a look, all of the Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass is there, I think. Yeah, most of it. But you can always go to the YouTube. Now on the YouTube, you're gonna find everything. You'll find my husband's music, my features, our House of Mono episodes with me and my husband, and some of the before Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass Up. I was going through our YouTube the other day, and it's just crazy, like seeing, the changes and stuff. So please, please, please give us a follow on those. Oh, that's right. Okay. And some other news. I forgot about Mono's West Side Bullies. I don't know how I be forgetting about the dogs. I promise y'all I love them. Okay. At Mono's West Side Bullies on Instagram. Our baby Stormy, she should be pregnant now. We will be having another litter soon from her and from Zelda. So I will keep y'all posted with the pictures of the puppies.
Don't forget about Shebra.
Shebra's not having puppies right now.
Why not?
It's not her turn yet. So yeah, I'll be keeping y'all posted with that, with pictures and stuff on the puppies. Okay, 2 minutes left. Now I think we can cue the song, right?
One time.
I'm gonna have Atticus come in and co-host with me one day. Listen, if you know what? I forgot. Okay, the little homie sent me a video and I forgot to do it. I'm going to do it next Thursday. I'm going to show it to y'all next Thursday. We're going to talk about it. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. But if you have topics you want to discuss, if you yourself are a content creator, you have content or a product you want to promote, then please, by all means, hit me up. Send me a DM. Yawar, shalom. Say shalom to Yawar. That's a brother. That's not a sister. Send it to my DMs. If you have a question, anything like that, hit me up. I don't mind answering questions and or addressing it here on the show next week.
I see ya, paid
Okay,
on the
what
pressure.
you gotta say?
25 lighters got
You
them all on
open
the
the
dresser.
shower.
If it ain't for you, ain't for
gotta
you
say
then.
it
If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown
You
up
just
now,
say
fuck
hey
the
to
childish
daddy.
ways.
Why?
Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch the clock side, hustle or a business you endure to ensure
What?
that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block with your homeboy. But
All right,
no,
I will see you guys here
vision,
next
you had
Thursday.
gold. Brand new,
Next
old time, gonna take
Thursday,
you
8
home
o'clock.
where you put
Shalom
your
and
old black men
shalom.
don't
We
keep
love you.
screaming
Good
punk, you know.
night.
Real men talk, real king ways.